Sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Welcome, one and all, to my Kerbal Space Program video series. In this episode, we are going to Duna with Kerbal with a crew, and we're coming back. Because why would you go one way to Duna and have no option to get back with a crew? Now, instead of talking about what's happening on screen, I have some explaining to do. Now, my last video, the Munman video, I said I was going to do something special for the next episode, which didn't happen. I did not have the nuclear engine, so I was planning on doing a Duna sample return mission. However, due to the file sizes and just the overall glitchiness of the mission itself, I wasn't satisfied with doing it, and it took up too many hours, so I had to abandon and scrap it. But I did do a sample return mission from Duna, 90% legitimately with a rover. Yeah. But now that explaining is done, we can just forget about all that, and I can talk about what's going on screen. So the first thing I built was the Duna tug/transfer/reentry module. Nothing too fancy, just the Making History Gemini 2-seater command pod with a heat shield, nuclear engine, as well as some liquid fuel, because the nuclear engine only runs on liquid fuel, so there's no need for oxidizer. So now, built the lander, you can attach it, build a fairing around it, and actually I decided I want to put a launch escape system on it, because why not? It looks nice. Made that fairing silver, and did some action groups and stuff. Yeah, nothing too special. I don't really know where to start now, since I, went on that whole rant. But now we're constructing the upper stage with these engines. Or no, with these engines. Those are the Cub Vernier engines. I didn't really need them for roll. Really, I actually just needed them to get the TWR to above 1. Or to get it to, just to get it a little more up 1. But that was one small boo-boo I made. The wash from them would hit the bell of the skipper engine, which would cause it to heat up. But the skipper engine had a very good heat tolerance, so it did not get destroyed. Now we're just building the rest of the rocket, the first stage and the boosters. Nothing too special. It's like a reverse SLS sort of thing, because the boosters are orange and the core is white, where with the SLS it's the other way around. And I'm just adding some extra launch clamps from the extended launch pads mod. Nothing in this video required mods. This could be completely done stock, but I just wanted, to have those there, because why not? So just adding some struts, and those cubic octagonal struts, those are being clipped into the fuel tank, but they're really just there to act as mounts for struts that really should just be connecting. So I think it's excusable, because in reality the struts wouldn't be there. The struts connecting it would just be there. But now that we're done with construction, we can go to the launch pad. I don't think there's anything to add. Double vector lower stage, and those launch clamps were too small for the mainsails. So we have a decent TWR. It's not as high as I would have liked it to be, but it's alright. So I'm just going to speed it up to 4 times speed. Something to note. Normally I speed up my launches to 8 times speed, but looking back at my Mun video, when I did that, the launch was way too fast. I couldn't get a coherent sentence out during the launch, so I just decided to slow it down to 4 times speed. And I think this rocket looks pretty good, actually, with the launch escape system and that fairing. I think it's a pretty acceptable rocket. And there goes the booster separation. Now, I did a little bit of a stupid mistake there by leaving those mainsail. I wanted to have the mainsail engines push the boosters up and away, but the mainsail was way too powerful for that. So they ended up getting very, very close to the core stage on separation because of those separatrons. But everything else was good. So we're just going to continue with this core stage. this core stage, this just how it looked, gave me a pretty good idea of another video that I can do when the series is done. Also, in 7 days, at least from the recording date, it would have been passed or on the day, possibly. I'm not sure. I gotta check. Point is, May 19th is the first anniversary of this channel, so I'm gonna do something special for that on that day. I'm not sure if it will be an episode of G-Bros Aerospace. Maybe it could be the finale, but I would have to be on more of a crunch period that I am running this channel on than I normally am. But I might, you know, sorry, I was just looking at my phone. Just got some messages responding to stuff. Nothing important, but uh, so first stage is separated. This was one small boo boo. I didn't launch it at Duna transfer window, so we had to spend a year in low Kerbin orbit, just waiting for the planets to line up. Nothing interesting. And a Duna transfer window is to anyone who doesn't know, Duna transfer window, 45 degrees. If you're gonna draw a line from the sun to Duna to Kerbin, the angle of the line at the sun, where it's like pointed, will be 45 degrees. So yeah, just we're good. And since I time warped over to an optimal Duna transfer window, I can get a Duna encounter right off of Kerbin. However, due to the massive change that happens to my path when I do any amount, add any or take away any amount of energy, including just shifting the mass of the spacecraft, from this distance, the change is so extreme that it will completely throw me off course. So I did have to do a mid-course correction. And you can see that's where I really noticed the boo-boo with the skipper engine and the vernier thrusters. Really, looking back at it, I could have shut down those vernier thrusters because I don't need the thrust that they provide at this point. They were really just to allow this to get us out of the atmosphere and into orbit without falling back down. And, as you can see, I don't know if you did see because it was getting sped up, but we overshot Duna by a good few miles. So I shut down all the vernier thrusters and tuned down that skipper way, way low, just to try to line it up better. But yeah, now that that's done, we are going to do the reconfiguration. And it's something super duper weird. Scatterer just stopped working. And it's even weirder because when I reloaded a quick save, it worked again. It's probably the second most bizarre glitch that happened in this mission. I'll save the most bizarre one for the end. But, yeah. This mission to get a bit glitchy. Oh, I I wanted to say this during the launch, but I finally got environmental visual enhancements to work. I feel like now that may have been a part of the glitch because I'm using an outdated config file. I did get the proper one up, so it should work now in the next video without, causing the insane visual glitches that happened in this video. I have a feeling they might have been caused by my computer uploading the file for Scatterer to the cloud because I was running low on storage, so my computer will automatically upload files to the cloud, and for some dumb reason, it will it uploaded the Scatterer file. So I'm pretty sure that's what just caused the breakage in this video. But that's a different story for more time. I'm just going to make a very, very precise maneuver. Now, I don't have anything to say other than even the precise node maker at its lowest possible setting is not precise enough. Really, I wish it was more precise. But I'm not gonna get mods. I like to keep it as stock as possible. All the mods that I use are either visual mods, quality of life things like Kerbal Engineer, or just completely unnecessary things like the modular launch pads, just to make it look nice. Really, it's the only purpose it serves. The rocket in this video could have easily launched without those two launch clamps on the booster. I just thought they looked nice, so I added them. So, something, I have time for a rant, so this is going to be my rant. My computer is completely dumb. not my computer, but iMovie is completely dumb, like mega dumb. Basically, iMovie has to duplicate the file off my disk, which, if that wasn't dumb enough, when I delete the file and when I delete an event in iMovie, it frees up a bit of space, but not as much as I thought it was. So I'm like, that's a bit strange. And it got to the point where the reason I had to cancel the Duna sample return rover mission was because I had like 2 hours of uneditable footage because I had no room on my computer. And this is why iMovie is completely dumb. When I delete the event, and thereby the media with that event, I even went into event medias and deleted all the events and the media associated with it. So after I did all that deleting, it kept the files and kept taking up space. I'm very angry about this. And it's nothing like to write to Apple about, but it's just completely dumb that it would words can't explain my confusion and how stupid this is. Well, like, why after it deletes the file would you keep the file? That's completely dumb. Rant over. We're just gonna do some science higher on the sun because interplanetary space, with all the experiments and the science kit I brought, we can get a decent bit of science. On top of all the science data we're gonna get from Duna and Ike. Now, boo-boo, I made a mistake here. I was controlling from the wrong point. If you can see, this is when I noticed it. We're accelerating and not decelerating. This, we had more than enough fuel to complete the mission, honestly. But, those side tanks, yeah, no. I had to quickly switch to the control point of the Gemini pod. And then I decided, instead of trying to get a circularized orbit on my first pass over, or not my first pass, on my first pass around, I'm going to get a barely captured orbit. So right here, just a second. Don't know why that took so long. And then instead of doing an aero brake or anything, I had more than enough fuel, so I just decided to do some slowing down with the engines yeah. And another thing that lightly annoyed me in this mission is that when I clicked the go to button, it overshot it. The whole reason I use that button is so that when I manually time warp, I don't overshoot my burns. That is dumb. I think it just has to do with the way that the deceleration of time warp works. So I just had to manually time warp it to this point. That's another thing. I overshoot a lot of burns because of the way it decelerates. And it's probably necessary to like ease it in and decelerate it at that rate. But I'm not going to deny I have missed several burns because of this mechanic. But now we're going to circularize. I don't think I saved any fuel. If not, I saved negligible amounts of fuel by doing this maneuver. If anything, I most likely lost fuel. But I don't care. But now we are going to slow down. And here, it's going to be a bit of a messy cut. Because, don't know if you know this, but I'm not that good. No, it's not that. That's not the reason why I cut. I had to cut because I just completely neglected to make quick saves when I landed for the first time. I had to go all the way back here because when I tried to do my biome hop, I landed on a slope upside down. And I don't know if you know this. This is very, very secretive knowledge that I'm about to share with you. Very, very few people know this. But when you land upside down, when you hit the ground upside down with a spacecraft, generally, that's not how you're supposed to land it. So generally, it will explode and crash. And on Duna, the reaction wheels don't work that well. Not nearly as well as they would on someplace like Ike or Minmus, or even Mun, if you have enough reaction wheels. I could not self-right it. There you can see that messy cut. Not as messy as I thought it was. But now you can see that Scatterer is working again. I have no idea why it's just stopped working and then turned back on. I maybe see why it broke like later on, but I don't see why it turned off and on. I attribute it to using an outdated config file for Eve, but I don't care that much. I'm gonna uninstall MechJeb. I'm not really using it for much. It was really just before I decided to start making this series, I had MechJeb installed just because. I'm gonna uninstall MechJeb, but yeah. Oh, waterfall! I got waterfall to work. So yeah, engine plumes will look better next video because I'm using waterfall. And I've seen Matt Lowndes' videos using waterfall. They look really nice. Really, they do. With the plumes that be changed by waterfall. So yeah, that's nice. Also, I want to try to get GamesLinks' Parallax mod to work. It's a terrain mod. It just makes it look really, really good. I will link, if I remember, I will link Matt Lowndes' video in the description of the Parallax mod review. I probably will, because I forget lots of things, but like these pointless little stupid things, I always remember. It's a problem. I'll admit it's a problem. But yeah, we have entered. I've rambled way past that talking about mods. But we've entered, we've deployed the chutes, we've slowed down with the engine, and now we're going on EVA. Mainly because since Duna has an atmosphere, you can easily rack up tons of science by just flying and doing experiments in different parts of it. So I did that. Now we got the quick save done. Now we're gonna get out, restore all these, and then we're gonna do the science on the surface because I still want that surface science. I feel like that's just as important as the ground science. And the EVA packs, they do work on Duna for two functions. If you get a jumping start, you can go up with them. Otherwise, they only really function as jump jets. If you don't get a jumping start, they really only function as jump jets. You can't get up very high with them. Especially now with the new DLC, or not DLC, with the new free update that makes parachutes weigh stuff. They're really hard. It's a bit harder to do stuff. But hey, we found these. These are the blueberries. They're a surface sample you can pick up on Duna, similar to the Munstone that we got from the last one. I don't know why these flags keep falling. I would really like them to not. But I mean, I can't really complain. They don't do anything. They're just cool, to be honest. But we got all the science, and now I'm going to save. That's the quick save I neglected to make, and it really started to annoy me, so I made the quick save then, there, and I would just reload that quick save every time I crashed. Which actually, I only crashed once, I think? Hopefully, I only crashed once? I think I only crashed once. And here I just decided to turn around, stupidly waste some fuel. I had more than enough in this vessel. And actually, I would save this when I got to the point. But that Terrier stage, I was able to ride that not only all the way to orbit, but I was able to use that to decelerate. Or not to decelerate, but I used that to slow down a bit for the Ike landing. Funnily enough, I didn't land on it. I used the Spark upper stage for that because it ran out of fuel. And the Spark's more efficient, but lots of less thrust, and it's much smaller. It's still good. I like the Spark and the Terrier. Those are like my two favorite liquid fuel oxidizer engines. The Vector's also a pretty nice one. The LV 909, the swivel and I'm not gonna say the numbers and letters. Swivel and the Reliant are also better. Oh, wait, I'm gonna stop talking about this, because now it's time to ascend. Ditch those parachutes. Yeah. That is just extra mass that we don't need. And I did a little sneaky cut, because this one, on my first one that I didn't do the sneaky cut, I got into I was in a retrograde orbit relative to the target, which means to slow down at the target, you have to completely reverse your orbit. And I didn't have enough delta V for that, even with the Terrier stage attached. Now here, I had to watch these Oscar B fuel tanks. And, oh, yeah, even those fuel lines, they were draining to the wrong thing. That's not really that interesting, but thought I might mention it. So I just had to monitor their fuel so that I could ditch them at the right time, so I wasn't wasting too much fuel by keeping them attached, but I also wasn't wasting fuel by just throwing it away with the stage. And now we have all these little weird pegs that are protruding out from the ship. I don't care that much. They don't add or take anything from the ship, but they look a little bit funny. Just these pegs coming off the ship. Now, I do just love adding the external tanks. Not like big shuttle external tanks, but the in-game external tank items. I like adding them for two reasons. One, they look dope as hell. Just gold, orange, and silver, anything shiny looks dope as hell on a spacecraft. You can try. Same thing with spheres. They look really, really good on spacecraft. You could try to debate me, but you'll never change my mind. They're just the best. But not only do they look super cool, they also make the something like this. They make it look a bit neater instead of just having the spark engine on a bare fuel tank underside, which look very ugly. Being 100% honest, I'm not gonna. I don't think anyone's ever said that. Uh, but they look ugly. I'm gonna be the first to say it. They look super ugly. So I just like using the donut external tank when I'm in this specific situations like these. I like using the donut external tank as like a sort of cap or something to make it look nice. But yeah, we're just gonna line up the rendezvous intersection maneuver nodes. I don't know what to call it. Being honest, I'm quite tired for a handful of reasons. One of those reasons is that I had 4 extra hours of school today, which the school day already went on for too long. So adding 4 extra hours made me tired. But on the bright side, now I'm home and I can do whatever I want, which can be homework. And then I'm gonna go to bed because I'm pretty tired. Or no, first, all right, this is my schedule. I came home. I did this so I didn't have to worry about it, and I can start working on the next episode of G Bros Aerospace, or just my life. And then I'm going to do stuff, anything else, eat dinner, and go to bed. And then I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and repeat it. No, I'm not gonna repeat the full thing. I'm not gonna voice a video tomorrow. That would be ludicrous. I'm going to make a video tomorrow. No, I'm not gonna make a video. I'm gonna record the footage, or at least I'm going to design the mission. Which, yeah. But we have docked. I just went on a tangent about me being tired, and we're docked, and now we're lining up for Ike, which is great. Now, I could have 100% done a third biome hop on Ike. I did two. I hit 2 biomes on Ike. I could have hit a third. I had more than enough fuel. And on top of that, I wouldn't have to make a 4th episode of G Bros Aerospace had I done that 4th biome hop, because I would have had enough science to complete the tech tree from running the whole science kit. I just literally could not have been bothered. At this point, I had to make so many quick saves and had spent so many hours. I literally just could not have been bothered to do a third ICOP. I was just like, I want to be done with this. This is taking way too long. I just want to be done. So I was done. So we're just going to get to Ike. We have to run the magnetometer boom because you can only run it when you are above the surface. You don't have to be in orbit, just above the surface. Which I would have put the magnetometer boom on the lander to maybe get it from like not Eve, from Duna's lower atmosphere when it wouldn't have been destroyed by aero forces. Again, literally could not have been bothered to. Like, I just put it on there and could not have been bothered to change it. So yeah, we're in orbit around Ike. However, we would have smashed into a mountain, so I had to do a quick orbit boost. But yeah, we're going to collect all this data out, because for some reason I didn't. And we're going to restore all the experiments. And we're going to store it all on the Mark II command module. Sorry, I just had to look out the window. But yeah, we're going to store it all in the Gemini pod, because that's one less thing for me to worry about. Make a quick save, because again, I was just feeling very done at this point in the mission. So I was not going to go. I was going to make a quick save at any landmark important part, because I was just done. I was just done. Could not do this anymore. And I love playing Kerbal Space Program, but it's hard. I feel like I'm under a lot more pressure while I'm recording it. One, because my computer does not have enough storage, so I feel pressured to do it as fast as I can, and I just don't want to waste time with this game. I just like getting to the stuff. I'm waiting for the day that unlimited flash drives or hard disks come out. I'm just waiting for that day, and then I will be good. Then I can make daily videos. And when I say daily, I mean whenever I feel like uploading them, but they could probably be on a more ambitious scale. Talked way past the Ike, the first Ike landing, but that's just me, to be honest. That's just me. And now we're going to do the first biome hop to the Central Mountain Range. Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch. The Ike Central Landing Range. Or mountain range, really. Doing a landing on it. I was a little bit scared because, okay, mountain in the name infers that there's going to be mountainous terrain. And this isn't a very mountainous structure, and I couldn't see anything because of, or no, this isn't a very lander-like structure, and I could not see Jack in the darkness. So I just had to pray to the Kraken. Then I remembered I'm using Kerbal Engineer. I could literally just look at the glowing red circle, and it was fine. Just gonna time warp over to when it's when we're on the bright side of Ike. Perform the science kit experiments. I'm sorry if I'm breathing too loud. That's just how I do. I don't know what to talk about, to be honest. But I don't just want to be silent because that's boring. And also, I don't have any other audio to add. Like, I don't have music or anything. So it'd be extremely boring. And I don't like that, to be honest. I don't like boring. That's boring, as the name implies. But yeah, now that the science has been done, we can ascend from Ike and make a node to get into orbit. And if we would just be done. Yep, there we go. We're in orbit. Now we're just going to make a node to rendezvous with the command and service module because I don't have anything to say. Just because that needed. There shouldn't be an explanation for this. I shouldn't have to explain it. To be honest, looking at it, if I was good at the game, I could probably return to Kerbin on this. But I couldn't for two reasons. One, no heat shield. Two, no parachute. And I could have jumped out, but why would I do that? I feel like that would have been like an unnecessary maneuver. Just to go back to Kerbin with us. And if you can't rendezvous, it's generally not a good idea to do interplanetary missions to go there and back. They're a lot harder to do without rendezvousing. It's a lot harder to do a direct. I know Duna direct is a thing, but I don't care, to be honest. I know it's a thing, but I don't really. Doesn't seem too appealing. So if you don't know how to rendezvous, try to stay away from two-way interplanetaries. Just do one-way interplanetaries. And yeah, we are almost there. So close, yet so far. And now we're going to boost toward the target, and then point to the target, boost to it, and back. Basically just repeat the process until we hit the target, preferably when we hit both of the docking ports, or when the two docking ports hit each other, preferably that will happen. And then they'll connect and dock. And then I can finally go home, back to Kerbin, and be done with this. We can board back onto the spacecraft. We're going to transfer all of the oxidizer we can out of this thing. There's a very, very small adapter tank. I left the oxidizer in it specifically for this, in case I needed to refuel the lander, but I didn't. I didn't really have to. So we're just going to drain the oxidizer, and this lander module is just going to become space junk. I wanted it to deorbit it, and I really could have. Oh, no, this is why I did it. I forgot to get science from space high above Ike, so I had to keep the science kit attached so I could do that. So this is going to be orbiting the sun. But hey, maybe I could do a space cleanup video. Actually, I'm thinking of doing that for one of my first videos once I'm done with the G Bros Aerospace series. is a space cleanup with an SSTO maybe or something, because I've left sizable amount of debris in orbit. I think it's just a couple pieces, but I mean, space junk is space junk, and space junk isn't good. Actually, what I could have done is just left it in orbit of Ike, and it would have been fine, but I could not have been bothered once again. So yeah, just gonna line up the nodes. I got a very, very good Kerbin encounter right off the bat. And the Mun. It's very annoying because it always tries to screw me over when I'm trying to return from interplanetary space. But we're good. We're just absolutely dandy. I do like to try to do Mun assists to do my escape burn. One, because you can save a lot of Delta V. You can use a Mun assist to slingshot you out of the Kerbin system for only 800 meters per second of Delta V for your Mooner injection burn. Downside, you can't really make a precise maneuver before you enter interplanetary space. So I could not line up my Duna encounter if I was gonna save fuel using the Mun assist. Still though, 800 meters. I don't know. 800 meters per second. You save a decent bit. Oh, here's where it happened. It glitched out. Scatter glitched out. Now I thought this wouldn't have been that bad. How wrong was I? How wrong was I? We can time warp over to Kerbin. I think this was in as the sun was setting. We landed on Kerbin. At sunset time. But I think if memory serves me right. But I feel like the video is visible enough, and you'll see why. You'll see why it was visible enough. Because now that we're at Kerbin, we're gonna time warp down here. Oh, we were on the full dark side of Kerbin. I was trying to see if I could change that, but no, couldn't have. So it appears that Kerbin has been transformed into white chocolate. This wouldn't be that alarming. This wouldn't have been as alarming as it was. Well, first we can deploy a drogue chute. And yeah. So the sky has turned white, the sun is exploding, and Kerbin has transformed to milk chocolate. To white chocolate. But as you can see, the oceans have turned to milk, which was probably more alarming. Yeah. But we're done! 7,000 science! We can unlock all these nodes. This is just modular launch pads. Yeah, it is definitely that. Just more launch clamps and stuff. Nothing. Yeah, just again purely cosmetic to make stuff look nice. But we can unlock plenty of nodes, including the Rapier engine, which I could start making SSTOs if I wanted to. But before I start doing SSTOs and things that I want to do, I think that I should finish this series. So yeah, get heavy landing for the big gears, Mark III parts. I did have Orbiter Construction Kit installed, but I did uninstall it because I want to try to stay stock, to be honest. But yeah, that's all the nodes I could buy at the science. So as this video draws to a close, we can see that Kerbin's oceans are milk. The sky is white. 'Tis the end of days for this sad planet. But I ask you to like, to subscribe, or to comment if you have anything to say. Stay yes.